Hi, today I'm going to show you how I make avatars in Unity as if it's like a video tutorial or something. You know, I'm going to go through the steps from the start, right? So I'm in a completely brand new project here that has just been launched. There's nothing in here, as you can see. I've not done anything yet, but I'm going to make a start by going to my files here, and we're going to get this is the Regulus VRChat avatar base version 1.22. I'm going to go ahead and drag it into this area down here into the assets, and now we're going to wait a little bit, give it some time, and there we go, there it is. So next thing I'm going to do is hop into here, and then I'm going to double click this, give it some more time a little bit. It'll take a moment to do this every single time you do it. Plus I'm using some recording software to record this and show you how it's done, which will also take a bit of resources on my computer, so it may take longer. But I'll probably end up doing some editing and cutting bits out so that you don't have to go through these long loading screens like I have to. So I guess when I'm silent, I'll probably just end up cutting it out simply because of this loading screen and such. Because sometimes, depending on what you're importing into your Unity, it can take quite a while to sort out and stuff. Right, as you can see, after waiting on that loading screen, I have been presented with this, and stuff down here has changed. What I'm going to do is press import here, and now what it's going to do is it's going to do some more stuff. We're going to wait again for more things to happen, and then a little thing will pop up down here. What this is essentially doing is, it's as if this is a zip file and Unity is like unpacking it, you know what I mean? So when you double click on this, you get the loading screen, then you press import like I just did there. So then it does a bunch of stuff, and then it should pop up down here, and we'll go from there. While I'm waiting on the loading screen in my Unity, I'm going to talk about a couple things here of a couple packages that I've got here. As you can see, we've got VRCFury and Poiyoomi. Poiyoomi, its purpose is to give your character cartoonish looking outlines. It's like its own special shader material that you can put on any avatar, and you can edit it, change the colors of the outlines, do all sorts of things. And VRCFury is essentially a system that can make a lot of things easier when it comes to making toggles, putting clothes or accessories onto your avatar with assets and things, and there's other things VRCFury can do as well with toggles, like you can change things and such. And the way you get them on here, because they don't come here by default, as you can see, they're like community created things. These links here are sort of things that you get from somewhere, probably like GitHub for example. And to get them in here, you would click up here where it says add repository. I'm not sure I said that correctly. And then you get your link, you put it in there, you click add, and then it will add it down here. Same thing with this one and such. And then once it's in there, it will show up here. So then it will say not installed. So then what you can do is select it, click on the version, and then after waiting a bit it'll install, and then it will be on your Unity project. So I do recommend grabbing these packages. In my opinion, they are essential. VRCFury is definitely essential in my opinion, because it just makes a lot of things easier in my opinion. And Poiyoomi is like a cosmetic kind of thing. So I will include links for these down in the description, I suppose, and they should hopefully get you to the right place. They should be correct and everything. Right, as you can see, the importing is done after waiting a bit, and we've got this here that has shown up. But before I put that in there, one thing I'm going to do real quick is go here into packages, and we're looking for something known as Gesture Manager, which is this. We're going to take that, drag it into here, and then I'm going to right click on it, go down to prefab, unpack completely, and that is now there. essentially the purpose of this is if I were to click this, it starts like a simulation to test the avatar, and this is a system that will emulate VRChat's toolbar menu so that you can test your toggles and things. So now that that's up there and out of the way, we've got this thing that has popped up after being imported, so we're going to hold left click and drag it and drop it there, and as you can see, that's a pretty pink boy, but that's okay, we will fix that. So first thing I'm going to do, again, I'm going to unpack it, and we're also going to click this little arrow which will show us some things. So the next bit is to stop making this look pink. So we're going to go into texture file and then go to materials, then I'm going to select this, hold shift and left click on here, so then it will select all three of them at once. Then I'm going to go up here, Poiyoomi Toon, and we will then give it some time, and then this will change, and then it will no longer be pink. It'll be blue for a moment, but there you go. Now it is what it should be. It's got all the textures. The next thing I'm going to do, you don't have to necessarily do this if you don't want to, but I do this every single time. I'm going to tick this box, and as you can see, oh my, it's become a bit of a mess, but that's okay. We can do this, change the size, and then make it black, and there you go. Now we've got cartoony outlines on the avatar. I recommend this number for the size, like you can change it like 1, 2, or 0.21, such, like the more zeros you add, the smaller it will get. Like this for example, though it's very hard to see, so I would recommend 0.002. Okay, so that's done. We don't need to worry about that now, so we're not exactly going to need to come back into this file again. The next thing I'm going to do is sort the poncho and pants out. So by default, these have toggles that the avatar have already created for you. So like if you just upload this as is, these will be working toggles, right? But what I want to do is I want to remove the toggles and then set it up with VRCFury, because with VRCFury, I will then be able to choose what menu file these go to, because with the toolbar menu you can have files and files as you select through them, but by default this has its own file that you can't do much stuff with. So I'm going to remove them and have it so that they have their own added to like a clothing file. So first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to head to expressions menu and then click on this thing. So just to be clear as well, again, this is something you don't have to necessarily do if you don't want to, but if you want your toolbar menu to be a little more organized, I do recommend it, okay? So once we click on this, we see these things here. I'm just gonna click this and they're gone, so we're not gonna worry about that now. And then we're going to pop over here on this thing, and once again click on that and just remove them. Next, we're going to go to Animator and click on this and press the delete button on my keyboard for both of those. Then we're going to do the same in here for parameters. Find pants and poncho and just go ahead and click the delete button on that, okay? So that should be it. The toggles of those are now gone. They should no longer exist. But then there's also this. This is the file for your clothes in the toolbar menu. Like this shows you the toggles that you have, right? I'm going to just go ahead and remove that. And if you want, you can just go ahead and rename some of these, such as like this. So, you know, stuff like this, right, down, left. I'm just going to use a bunch of arrow keys. This is like, this key here is what happens when you hold shift and press the number 6, and these are, that's a lowercase v, and these two here are your arrow keys. No, not arrow keys, it's It's like dot, but you hold shift to get that, you know, and the comma. But anyway, that's not so important. Next, since these are now functionless, since they no longer work, we're going to add a component here, right? So we get this, and we're going to search toggle, and you want to find the one with VRCFury in brackets, and then we have this. So we're going to click edit action and object toggle. Going to then drag this down into here and save between worlds after clicking options as well. So next, we're going to go into here and type clothing slash defaults slash poncho. So these are files basically. In the toolbar menu, you'll see a file labeled clothing. You go into it and then you'll see a file labeled defaults, and then poncho is your toggle. So what I'm going to do is click these three dots, press copy component, and then go to the pants, go up here to transform on these three dots, hover over paste, component as new. Then we're going to go back up here to the hierarchy, drag the pants down to here, and then change this to say pants, like that. And then, when we do a play test, these will be functioning toggles. Another thing I'm going to do is click on this, hold control, and then click on this, and then if I click this, it turns them off. And that is what I want by default, to make sure everything's fine, and also this will help me see the avatar better if I were to add another outfit onto it. So we're going to then hit the playtest button just to make sure that these toggles are working. We are now playtesting, so once a playtest has started, that will go blue to tell you it's active, and if we want to stop the playtest, we click on this and then it will stop. But what we want to do is click Gesture Manager. This is what I was talking about earlier for emulation. As you can see, this has happened here. So as you can see now, it's a simulation, right? It's got the VRChat toolbar menu, and look, there's the clothing tab we just made. Click on it, there's the default tab we made, and here are the toggles, and now they work just like this. See? It all works and such. And there's all these other things here that comes by default with the regulars, which are just other toggles like facial expressions and wagging the tail and such. So now I'm going to stop this playtest, and I'm going to move on to the next part, which is giving this character an outfit that you may have acquired from a place like Gumroad, where you can buy assets and all sorts. So we're going to do that next. So I'm just going to go to my files here, and I'm going to grab this outfit here. I'm going to hold left click on it and then drag it down to the assets area. As you can see here, it is a Unity package file, but it doesn't really matter whether it's a Unity package or a file icon like this. It could just be any asset. You could quite literally just drag any asset into here, and depending on the size of the asset can also depend on how long it will take to import, because as you can see my mouse cursor has changed to the blue circle, and there you go. So once it's done, you may see this. So I'm going to click import, and then I'm going to have to wait again. Right, now that that has finished, you can see here that a new file has popped up. This is the outfit that I've just added. And we've got some things here. We've got materials, textures, and a couple bits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and drag it onto here. It's automatically put it on the avatar so you can see what it looks like by default when you put it on there. And once again, I'm going to do this, unpack completely. This is something I do like all the time with assets that I put on an avatar. And we've also got some things over here. These are the assets. Look, as you can see, we've got the whole outfit. So if I turn it off and such, you can see what parts turn on and off. And he's got a little stick. He's got a little stick in his mouth. That's funny. And then we've got this here known as armature, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. For now, we're going to make the toggles first. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold shift and select all of these, and then I'm going to go up here and paste the component, and then just click on one of them, and as you can see, it's a copy and paste of the toggles we made earlier. Next, I'm going to drag this, and then I'm going to edit this, and then we're going to create this, and just type that in there, right? So now, I'm just going to copy that, and next, we're going to go down here, we'll click on the twig, and as you can see, it's got these fizz bones, which is what these are, but we don't really need to touch that, we don't need to worry about it. The next thing, I'm just going to drag that into here, and I'm going to type accessories, because I'd say that counts as an accessory. So I'm just going to type twig, and then the same thing for this hat. Like so, and then we've got the farm tool, which appears to be a fork or something. You can name these anything you want, to be honest, but I just do this with how they are, just to make it all organized and everything, and then I'm going to just go ahead and turn them all off. But before I keep them off, once again, I'm going to do the thing with the Poiyoomi. And as you can see, there's a couple things here that seem to be off. But we've got two materials here. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to worry about this one here. I'm going to do the outlines thing again. It's become a big mess, but that's alright. Just easily fix that. And if you want to, since this has two materials, we can have multiple things with different settings added to it. I did not want it to put it on that. I wanted it on the stick, like so. And then there we go, just kind of. There we go. So as you can see, I've separately made the stick have smaller outlines compared to the rest of the outfit. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and select them all and turn them off. Right, so the next thing we need to do is get this linked, because as you can see, it's on the avatar. Like, you can see our character is wearing the clothes, but if you were to do a playtest and you start making him do emotes to make him move around, you'll see that the clothes will sort of clip through him because they're not linked. There are a couple ways you can link clothes. You can just go to here, add component, and search armature link VRCFury, and it will automatically do that, and that's it, done. However, some outfits require a manual linkage, and this does not work all the time. It can depend on some assets. So if it requires a manual linkage, there is a bit more of a complicated way to do manual links, but I'll show that in a moment. Okay, to start doing a manual linkage, the first thing I'm going to be doing is clicking on these arrows to sort of open some things. There are some that you don't need to click on, such as those, but just follow the ones I click on here. We're going to go like neck, head, but we're going to keep that one closed, shoulders, upper arm, and then lower arm towards the hand. I'm just going to do these ones and leave those as is. I'm going to do this one as well. Like so, and there you go. So as you can see, it does seem to get a little confusing because there's a lot going on here, but I'm gonna go slow with this one, so hopefully it will help you to follow this with me going slowly, because usually I do this quite quickly and it might be confusing to some people and such. So the next thing we're going to do is go to this hierarchy tab, but if you haven't got that up there, what you want to do is click these three dots, add tab, and hierarchy. So then that will add a new one of these. So we then go over here and just click a button that says select the children, and as you can see, a lot of stuff has just happened. But there are some things that have opened that we don't need to be open, such as these here, like foot and toe. We don't need that. We just need the feet there. We can close those as well. We can close the sticks as well, because we don't exactly need to do that one either, because that will be linked to the head. And same for these as well. You can close those, because you don't need to do that bit either. But what we do need to do is, you may notice that these are all named the same things. This is for the farm outfit and this is for the Regulus avatar. Ideally, you ought to rename these, like, let's say, farm outfit waist R, right? But the thing is, that will make this very time consuming depending on how many parts there are. So usually I just skip ahead to the naming bit and I just go ahead and do the linking business. I don't bother to rename it, but if you want to rename it, you can. I would recommend renaming it in case you want to remove the outfit later on, because then you can find the renamed parts and you'll know which bit is which. But with them all the same, it might get confusing. So I would suggest only renaming these if you wish to remove you might want to remove the outfit in the future, but I'm just going to go ahead and start doing this here. So we've got the Regulus here, and then the farm outfit, right? We've got waist R, waist R. So what we're going to do is hold left click on this, drag it over here, and as you can see, it does that. We're just going to close it. We don't need to worry about it. So slowly but surely, we're just going to drag all of these onto the Regulus version of these little bits. Okay, and just close these once you're done with them. I would advise it, because hopefully it will get less confusing, because the more you've finished, like the more of these you've done, and as you close them, less of them are on the screen. So there we go, and that's gone. So lower leg onto that one, upper leg like that, tail root on there, close that as well, and then we've got lower arm, and as you can see, we didn't even need to use the hand, so we could just close that. So you know, you've just got that like that. However, some outfits will have hand in there, so you will want to drag it. There might also be assets where they have these, but I wouldn't really bother dragging the individual fingers on, because it's not really necessary. So we've got upper arm R here, which goes on there. Shoulder R goes on there. Close that because we don't need to worry about the hand. Lower arm, upper arm L. So, you know, the R and L just stands for left and right. It's just indicating like which one, which should be easy to understand. We've then got the heads, and as you can see, the sticks are attached to this part. So then we're going to close that. The neck, the chest, spine, which goes here, and then hips right and hips left. Then you've got hips, which goes on that one. Be careful not to confuse it with left and right. And then you've got armature, which goes on there. And then you've just got the folder of all your toggles. So if you've got a bunch of these folders, it's nicely organized. Otherwise it would kind of be a mess. As you can see here, it's not really organized. The pants and poncho do not have their own folder together, but you could put them in a folder if you wanted to. So now that is done, and if I do a play test, we should see our clothes working and such. So here's the accessories tab we've made. We've got the stick, we've got the little hat, and we've got the big farm tool, except as you can see, it's kind of just floating there, but there is a way to fix that, and we'll do that in a moment. But here we go, clothing. There's the farming outfit, And then there's the dungarees, and there you go. It's on there. So I'm gonna press these toggles, and here's the complete outfit. And if I do an emote, as you can see, it's all working and stuff. It's all linked to the avatar properly. You may wonder why this isn't moving at all or anything, but we can very easily fix that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing on here, and there are two ways you could fix this problem. A, you can go here, give it the armature link, and like do hips or chest, and then simply reposition it and just put it on the back as if it was like a sword in a holster or something, you know, and then it can look like that. Or B, another thing you could do is you could click on this and click on left hand or right hand, and then you can just position it so that it's in the hand of your avatar. You know, this button here is to rotate, like click this and you get to move it around. Click this, you can rotate it in all sorts of ways and such. And this is for scale, make it bigger or smaller, and we're not going to worry about what this does. And then this is just drag your camera around. We don't need to worry about that. You can hold right click and then hold middle mouse button at the same time, and that can get you moving. Or you can hold right click and press WASD to also move your view around. So I'm not going to necessarily worry about the farm tool right now, but I have at least shown you how to sort it out. So that should be helpful. Another thing I'm going to do is, if your outfit didn't require a manual linkage, how we would link it with VRCFury is incredibly simple. What you would do is go onto the parent file, which is the main one here. You click add component, armature link, it will automatically be set to hips, and then you're done. It's as simple as that. What I've just shown you about the manual link though, in here, what I've just shown you here is something that some outfits require. You might be able to get away with doing a VRCFury link, but it may not always work, because A, most of it will not clip, but then there might be some bits here and there that might clip through the avatar, or B, it just won't work at all. I don't really know why it's like this, why some assets require manual linkage and some don't, but I suppose it's just the way they've been built by the creator with how they're made. But that's fine. It's not entirely important. At least now you should know how to do a manual link and a automatic link with VRCFury. Now what I'm going to do is start putting together a expressions DLC that a friend of mine made. It's like custom facial expressions for the Regulus that do not come with the avatar by default. Basically what they did was they made some edits and created new animations, and they were able to get some expressions out of the Regulus that you're not normally able to get, since they do not come with the avatar by default. But I'm going to start setting those up. This is not entirely necessary, because you may not have this package, because this was made by a friend and they gave it to me and I've been using it and such. But if I were to give you the package for these expressions, I'm going to show you how I set them up. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I've got this thing called Toggle Assistant here. We're just going to go ahead and drag that on there. It's not very big, it's a very small system, which is essential for this expressions thing here. So we're going to import that. Right, now I'm going to get started on the custom expressions. So I'm going to put them in here instead of the assets folder, just to keep things more organized. So I'm going to drag my file of expressions into here. Right, now that the custom facial expressions folder has finished importing, I'm going to go into here and go into the faces. And as you can see, we've got a nice selection of custom expressions that my friend has made. So in order to set these up and put them on the avatar, the first thing we're going to do is put our mouse cursor in this area, and we're going to right click. Then we're going to go down here where it says create advanced toggle. We're going to click on that. We're going to do as it says. We're going to select the avatar by pressing that circle, going onto this screen, selecting this, then the error message goes away. So it now knows that we want to create something for this avatar. So what we're going to do is create a new sub-menu known as Expressions 3. And by default it goes in here, which is what we want. We're going to create we're going to create the sub-menu. And now that that's finished, we're going to tick this box. And then we're going to very simply just start dragging these in here. So we're going to grab this and drag it into here, right? Into the on animation. As for the off animation, you don't need to put anything in there. It's not really necessary because it's not really going to do anything. I'm not really sure what happens when you put something in there, but you only need to follow these easy steps here that I'm doing. So we've got that in there. We've got happy animation. Then we're going to name it here like this, right? And if you want to, you could give it an icon. So I'm going to search face, and then I'm going to select this. And now that that is done, I'm going to create the toggle. And as you can see, it's now got 1 out of 8. So by default, now that I've created that sub-menu, whatever toggle I make will go into that folder by default. If you want to, you can select other ones by doing this. Click on that, select. But if it's got 8 out of 8, like it's already full, it will say, sorry, but it's kind of full, so we've got to use this one. So next, we're just going to keep going and just continue on with giving them icons, just to help us identify which one is which. Create toggle, and sometimes you might get this loading screen. It may take a moment to do some of its stuff. Got a sad face expression. We're going to search for this one, create toggle, and I'm just going to keep doing this for each and every single one of them. Not every single one, there are some here that you don't necessarily need, like blep and sleeping. I don't usually set those ones up with my avatars because they appear to be the same as a couple of expressions that come with the regulars by default. But here we go, we've got loopy, which would look something like this. These icons not only help us identify which one of these is which in the toolbar menu, but also gives you an idea on what it may look like. So we're just going to do this for each one, and I'll probably edit this out and be back with you once I'm done with this. Right, so I've just finished that. We're going to click the X on here, and we're going to get out of this folder and head to Expression. And as you can see, we've got a new thing here. This is the sub-menu we created. We're going to go into this area here, click on Expressions 3, and we're just going to kind of rearrange it a bit. And we're also going to click on this and give this submenu an icon here. That's gone to the wrong place. I'm going to rearrange this, and as you can see, we've got some Japanese text here. I'm just going to go ahead and rename these. Copy and paste that and just make it one. We're going to call this bullet because this is an emote expression for sticking the tongue out. Right, now that that is done, we don't need to worry about that anymore. The next thing we're going to do is go into this tab that says Animator. If you haven't got that, once again, like I've shown you earlier, you hit Add tab on these three dots, and then you go to the one that says Animator, except it doesn't seem to be here. We've got Animation, but you want to see the one that says Animator, and it will show you this here. I assume this will be here by default, as it does not seem to allow me to create a new tab, so careful not to remove this because this is quite important. But we're going to go in here and scroll down, and as you can see, we've got all the new expressions that we've just put in. So we click on Happy Boy and we're presented with some things here. I'm not too familiar with what these are and what they do, so if you mess anything up in here, it might be difficult to fix, but if you just press Ctrl Z, you should be fine. But what I'm going to do is click on this arrow, lower this down so that we see this, tick this, then edit this to 0.75 and this one into 0.05. Then I'm going to untick this box, so as you can see, that's now like that, and then I'm going to do the same to this one. What I just did on that one, you do exactly the same for this one. Do that, untick once you're done, and as for this, you don't need to touch anything there, you only need to edit these. So we're going to do exactly the same for all the others. Untick once you're done, tick it, 0.75, 0.05, untick. So the reason I'm doing this, editing all these numbers, is so that when you toggle the expression, it has an animation transition, so that the expression doesn't come on instantly. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is sort of personal preference, just so that the expression isn't turned on instantly the moment you press the toggle button. But I'm gonna do this because it's something I choose to have. Like I said, it's pretty much a preference thing. So you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you do want to do this, here is how to do it. So there you go, I've done that. I've shown you how to do that stuff right there. And that is finished. So that's all done, and there's one more thing I'm going to do real quick. So again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but you may be aware that some avatars, such as the Regulus, has a system where it will automatically blink, and if you wish to disable it, I'm going to show you how to do it. So we go down to animation and we see these here. We're then going to right click, go back to this area after clicking create advanced toggle, once again select the avatar, and then this time we're going to select this here, select that, Then we're going to grab this one that's labeled auto blink. This one and this one, you don't need to touch those, don't need to worry about it. But we're going to tick that box, drag this into the on animation, and just type auto blink, and give it an icons if you want to. Create toggle, and there we go. When that toggle is turned on in your toolbar menu, it will stop the auto blink system and your character will stop blinking. So that is now finished, and that's just about everything you need to know on avatar creation. There are other things I do, such as texturing, but that's a whole different topic. I might do another video on how I do my texturing on another day, but for now that's pretty much it. There's just a couple things I need to do now. One, I need to save this. So once you've saved that there, you'll see this. This is your save. You don't need to do anything to that. And then the next thing you're going to want to do, like let's say, oh, I've finished my avatar. Now I want to upload it and play as this character. To do that, you go up here where it says VRChat SDK and you click Show Control Panel, and then it's going to ask you to log into your VRChat account. So I'm going to do that real quick. Once you have logged into your VRChat account on this SDK, it will show you this, and what we're going to do is go to Builder, and this is how you upload the avatar. So you're going to give it a name. I'm just going to copy and paste this into here, and a description, like just say information about the avatar goes here. You could just type anything you want, really. Anything in the name, it doesn't matter. So next thing you can do is you can get a thumbnail. So as I move around, you can do this, and bam, that's the avatar's thumbnail, which is how it will show up in game. Or you can select a thumbnail of any image you wish. You can just get a custom image in there. So like, let's say for example, I do a bit of photography and get a nice photo of this character, and then I can just put that in there. So then it doesn't have this Unity background. Instead, it shows the avatar out in the wild or whatever. So after you've done that, you're gonna want to just have a look down here, make sure everything is all good to go. As you can see, there are some things here, but you're not really gonna need to worry about those. So it's fine. The next thing we're going to do is hit this tick and then click build and publish. And once you click that, you're going to have to wait probably a few minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how good or bad your PC is. It may take longer or less time. And after that loading screen, it should say that your avatar has been built, or like successful upload or whatever. If it fails, it will say upload failed, and if it says that, there could be issues like compiler errors or something else. I'm not too sure, but the point is, if it says upload failed, then it means there's an issue. Right, and there you go. That is just about everything you need to know on how I do my avatars, aside from the texturing, but that's a whole different topic kind of thing. In terms of all the technical things, that's just about everything I do, pretty much. So yeah, be sure to maybe check out some of this other content that I'm going to put on the screen here, and yeah, we'll see you all next time.